Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, as you drift into the quiet spaces of your own mind, I invite you to step with me into a hidden world. The world beneath your thoughts, beneath your awareness, beneath the noise of the day. Here, in the deep currents of the subconscious mind, reality itself begins to take shape. Before we begin this journey, I'd love to gently ask if you find comfort in these explorations, if you feel the way science and wonder intertwine here. I invite you to subscribe to the Wandering Neuron. That way, we can keep traveling together into the mysterious landscapes of mind, memory, and universe. Now, close your eyes, soften your breath, and let us enter the quiet. Because the truth is both strange and beautiful. The reality you see around you is not merely out there. It is being created, filtered, and colored by the hidden power of your subconscious mind. Imagine standing on the shore of a vast ocean at night. The waves roll in, steady and unbroken, carrying the mysteries of a world you cannot see. The surface is what you notice. The glitter of moonlight, the ripples, the sound of surf. But beneath the surface lies something far larger, far deeper, far more powerful than your eyes can perceive. Your conscious mind, the part of you that reasons, analyzes, and speaks in words, is like the surface of the sea, clear, visible, and only a fraction of the whole. But the subconscious mind, that is the ocean beneath. It is the deep, silent world that holds your memories, your instincts, your emotions, your habits, and your deepest beliefs. Psychologists often describe the subconscious as the hidden driver of behavior, but the truth is even more profound. It doesn't just influence your behavior, it shapes your perception of reality itself. Consider this. Your eyes are constantly receiving billions of signals, colors, shapes, flickers of light, movement in the corner of your vision. Your ears capture vibrations, the hum of electricity, the rustle of fabric, the rhythm of your own breath. Your skin feels the temperature of the air, the brush of clothing, the weight of your body against the ground. And yet, you do not notice most of it. Your conscious mind filters all this down to a thin stream of awareness, while the subconscious quietly decides what matters, what you notice, what you ignore, what you believe is real. Reality, then, is not simply what exists outside you. It is the picture your subconscious paints from the endless stream of sensations. And each person, guided by their own subconscious patterns, walks through a reality uniquely their own. The subconscious is the hidden artist of perception, the dreamer beneath the dream. Have you ever noticed how two people can live the same event, but remember it entirely differently? One sees rejection, while another sees opportunity. One sees chaos, while another sees beauty. This is not a trick of memory. It is the architecture of the subconscious at work. Our beliefs, often formed in childhood, buried deep, and rarely questioned, act like tinted glass over the lens of perception. If you were taught, for instance, that the world is dangerous, your subconscious will filter reality to highlight threats, sharp words, closed doors, shadows. If you were taught that the world is full of kindness, The same environment will shimmer with invitations, allies, and possibilities. Your subconscious is not concerned with truth in the objective sense. It is concerned with consistency, with protecting the story it already believes. Neuroscience calls this the predictive brain model. The brain is not a camera capturing reality. It is a prediction machine. It constantly guesses what is happening, fills in gaps, and bends perception to match expectation. The subconscious ensures that your world makes sense, even if that sense is distorted. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This is why people sometimes feel trapped in repeating cycles, in relationships, in careers, in self-image. It is not that life conspires against them. It is that the subconscious is painting the same patterns again and again, like waves returning to the shore. The reality you see is the echo of the beliefs you carry. And until you bring those hidden beliefs into the light of awareness, they will continue to whisper reality into being. If the subconscious mind is a vast ocean, then what Carl Jung discovered was that the waters do not end at the edges of the individual. Beneath the surface of your personal memories and private beliefs lies a deeper sea, the collective unconscious. Jung suggested that within each of us lives not only the story of our own life, but fragments of stories shared by humanity itself. Archetypes, he called them. Timeless figures and patterns that emerge again and again across cultures. The hero, the shadow, the mother, the trickster. Why do so many myths across the world echo each other? Why do we dream of journeys, battles, and transformations we have never lived? Because the subconscious mind carries not just your history, but the echo of countless lives before you. Think of it like a library whose books you have never opened. Somewhere inside you lies the knowledge of how to nurture, how to fight, how to fear, how to transcend. Not because you learned it in school, but because your subconscious remembers the timeless script of humanity. And here lies another way the subconscious shapes reality, through projection. Jung explained that what we cannot see in ourselves, we often project onto others. We meet someone and call them wise, cruel, deceitful, or kind. But often what we are seeing is not just them, but our own hidden qualities mirrored back. The world you perceive, then, is partly a mirror. Every encounter a reflection of what lives in your subconscious. Jung's words still whisper to us. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakes. The act of turning inward, of meeting the subconscious not as an enemy but as a teacher, is the beginning of transforming reality itself. For what you do not know within, you will be fated to meet again and again without. Let us drift now from the language of myth into the language of science. If Jung painted the subconscious with the colors of archetypes, neuroscience has begun to sketch its outlines in the firing of neurons. When the brain is at rest, when you are not focused on a task, not solving a problem, not reading these words with intent, another system lights up. Scientists call it the default mode network. This network is active when you daydream, when your thoughts wander, when you recall memories or imagine the future. In other words, it is the architecture of the subconscious in action. Studies show that this network weaves together fragments of experience, emotion, and imagination. It connects past to present, present to future, and creates the sense of self that you carry. But here's the astonishing part. The default mode network doesn't just recall reality, it predicts it. Each moment, your brain is quietly running simulations of what you expect to happen, and these predictions shape what you perceive. Imagine walking into a room you've never seen before. In an instant, your subconscious fills in countless details: where the floor should be, how the walls should stand, what shadows mean, how gravity will hold you. You don't think about these things consciously. They are assumptions so deeply woven into your subconscious model of reality that you live inside them without question. This predictive process is why you often miss the unexpected. Your brain is so busy painting the picture it expects, it sometimes fails to notice when something doesn't fit. Magicians exploit this with sleight of hand, but so too does life. Sometimes the opportunities before you remain invisible simply because they don't match your subconscious script. Now, let us wander into the night, into the world where the subconscious speaks most freely. Dreams. Every night, as you sleep, your brain dives into a theater of images and symbols. Strange, shifting, sometimes terrifying, sometimes radiant. You wake and often forget, but beneath the strangeness lies meaning. Dreams are not random noise. They are the subconscious mind rehearsing, reweaving, reorganizing the fabric of reality. In dreams, your brain processes emotions too large for daylight, resolves conflicts left unfinished, and imagines futures not yet lived. Jung believed dreams were the royal road to the unconscious, the place where archetypes reveal themselves in disguise. Neuroscience adds another layer. During REM sleep, the brain consolidates memories, strengthens patterns, and prunes away unnecessary connections. In other words, it is sculpting the architecture of your waking reality. Consider how a dream can linger, shaping your mood the next day, or how a nightmare can haunt your perception of safety, or how a dream of possibility can inspire action in waking life. Dreams are whispers of the subconscious, rehearsals of the real. They show you the stories your mind is writing beneath awareness, and those stories, in turn, shape the way you live when the sun rises. When you wake tomorrow morning, ask yourself not only what you dreamed, but what your dream might be teaching you about the reality your subconscious is creating. For in dreams, the veil is thin. The mind reveals itself as both painter and canvas, both dreamer and dream. Imagine a potter at a wheel, shaping clay into a vessel. With each press of the hand, each turn of the wheel, the clay remembers. It holds the imprint of every movement. Your subconscious works the same way, but its clay is memory. We often think of memory as a static record of the past, like a photograph preserved forever. But neuroscience reveals something subtler, more fluid. Memory is not fixed. Each time you recall an event, you reshape it. You edit it unconsciously according to your present mood, your beliefs, and your expectations. And then the altered memory is stored again. This means the subconscious does not simply store reality, it reconstructs it. The memories you carry are not pure reflections of what happened, but living sculptures, reshaped over and over until they fit the story your subconscious believes. And those memories, in turn, guide your perception of the present. If long ago your subconscious learned that the world is unkind, it may recall events in ways that reinforce this belief, even overlooking the kindness that was there. If your subconscious learned that you are capable, it may exaggerate the moments of triumph, quietly dimming the moments of doubt. Thus, memory is not the past. It is the clay with which the subconscious sculpts the present. What you call reality is often just the story your subconscious has been retelling over and over until it becomes the only version you know. Beneath memory lies another force, even more ancient, even more powerful: emotion. Emotions are not just fleeting feelings, they are the language of the subconscious, the pulse by which it communicates, decides, and creates. When you feel fear, your subconscious narrows the world. Doors close, colors fade, possibilities retreat. Reality shrinks until only the threat remains. When you feel joy, the opposite happens. The world seems to open. Opportunities sparkle, connections appear, even strangers seem warmer. Neuroscience shows that positive emotions actually broaden perception, allowing you to see more possibilities than you would in states of fear or stress. Your subconscious remembers emotion more deeply than fact. You may forget the details of a day, but you remember how it felt. And that emotional memory quietly writes the script of your reality. This is why repeated emotional experiences become the architecture of your life. If your subconscious is steeped in shame, it builds a reality filled with rejection. If it is steeped in gratitude, it builds a reality filled with abundance. And here lies a quiet secret. You cannot always control the events of your life, but you can influence the emotional soil in which your subconscious grows. By nourishing it with states of wonder, kindness, and calm, you reshape not only your inner world, but the reality you walk through. The subconscious is always listening, not to words, but to emotions. They are its blueprints, and from those blueprints, your reality rises. Now we come to one of the most mysterious and, at times, frustrating ways the subconscious creates reality: the self-fulfilling prophecy. Have you ever feared something so deeply that in trying to avoid it, you brought it into being? Perhaps you feared rejection and so held back warmth, which led others to withdraw. Or you feared failure and so avoided trying, which ensured you never succeeded. This is the loop of the subconscious. What you believe shapes how you perceive. How you perceive shapes how you act. How you act shapes what happens. And what happens reinforces what you believe. Round and round it goes, until it feels like fate. But it is not fate. It is the echo chamber of the subconscious mind. Psychologists call this confirmation bias, but it is more than a cognitive trick. It is a way of living inside a story so tightly that no other story can break through. The beauty, though, is that the loop can work in your favor as well. Believe in possibility, and your subconscious opens your eyes to opportunities. You act with more courage. Doors open. Success reinforces belief. The loop turns upward, spiraling toward growth. In this way, the subconscious is like a garden that grows whatever you plant. Fear, joy, doubt, trust. Each becomes a seed that multiplies through the loops of perception and action. To step out of the prison of prophecy is to notice the loop, to see it not as fate, but as pattern. And once you see the pattern, you can begin to change it. The subconscious may be powerful, but it is also teachable. It listens. It learns. And the moment you begin to speak to it differently, reality itself begins to change. The subconscious mind does not speak in words the way the conscious mind does. It speaks in images, patterns, and symbols, a language as old as dreams. Think of how a single symbol can carry layers of meaning: a circle, endlessness, wholeness, eternity; a tree, growth, rootedness, connection between earth and sky; a mirror, reflection, identity, truth and illusion. Your subconscious constantly uses such symbols to communicate with you, in dreams, in slips of the tongue, in the images that linger in your imagination long after you've seen them. This is why art, myth, and ritual have always spoken so powerfully to humanity. They bypass the conscious mind's reasoning and go directly to the subconscious, where symbols stir feelings too deep for language. Even in daily life, your subconscious creates symbolic associations that shape reality. The smell of bread may symbolize safety. The sound of a song may symbolize loss. A color, a place, a gesture, each can become a key to unlock whole landscapes of emotion. When we ignore symbols, the subconscious speaks louder. In recurring dreams, in inexplicable attractions or fears, in sudden bursts of inspiration. It insists on being heard, because reality is not built only from logic, but from meaning. And meaning is the currency of the subconscious. To learn the language of symbols is to open dialogue with the hidden mind, to notice what images repeat, what motifs follow you, what signs appear again and again, is to begin to glimpse the blueprint of the reality your subconscious is quietly writing. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself standing on a mountain peak. Feel the air thin, crisp, and cold. Sense the vast view unfolding before you, valleys, rivers, forests, all bathed in sunlight. Though the mountain is not physically here, notice how your heart responds. Notice how your breath shifts. Notice how your body feels the imagined scene as if it were real. This is the quiet magic of imagination. Neuroscience shows that when you vividly imagine something, the same neural pathways activate as if you were experiencing it directly. The subconscious does not fully distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. This is why athletes rehearse victories in their minds, why musicians imagine the sound of a perfect performance, why artists envision a painting before the brush touches canvas. The subconscious treats imagination as rehearsal, preparing the body and mind to step into that reality. But the same is true in darker ways. If you constantly imagine failure, loss, or rejection, your subconscious rehearses those too. It primes you to see them, to expect them, and often to create them. Imagination, then, is not mere fantasy. It is a workshop where the subconscious builds blueprints for future reality. Every image you linger on, every scene you replay, every story you tell yourself becomes part of the rehearsal. The subconscious listens, and one day, it brings the script to life. Nowhere is the power of the subconscious more visible and more mysterious than in our relationships. Think of how you sometimes feel an instant connection with someone you've just met, or, conversely, an unexplainable unease. This is the subconscious at work, comparing subtle cues, tone of voice, body language, even faint sense, to its vast archive of memory and pattern. But it goes deeper still. Your subconscious carries the imprints of your earliest bonds, how love felt, how safety felt, how conflict unfolded. These patterns become the invisible template you bring into every relationship. If love once meant inconsistency, your subconscious may seek it again, not because it is pleasant, but because it is familiar. If love once meant warmth, your subconscious may carry that expectation forward, creating connections that echo it.
And so we are drawn to people not only by conscious choice, but by subconscious recognition. We find what we already carry within. This is why relationships can feel fated, as though certain people were destined to meet. In a way, they are. The subconscious will continue to summon the patterns you most need to see until you bring them into awareness. But this is also where the subconscious becomes a bridge. When you recognize its patterns, when you understand why certain relationships pull you or why certain conflicts repeat, you gain the power to shift them. You no longer have to live inside the same script. You can write new ones. Relationships, then, are not only connections between people, they are mirrors, reflecting the hidden landscape of your subconscious mind. By learning to see what they reveal, you begin to reshape not just your bonds, but your entire reality. Have you ever thought of someone only to have them call you moments later? Or opened a book at random only to find the very words you needed? Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that seem too precise to be random. Skeptics may say it's chance, but Jung suggested that synchronicity arises when the inner landscape of the subconscious and the outer flow of events align, like two mirrors facing each other. Your subconscious, holding patterns, emotions, and desires you may not even be aware of, seems to shape the way you encounter reality. Not by bending the laws of physics, but by drawing your attention to the events that match its story. Imagine walking down a busy street. Hundreds of faces pass by, yet one face feels strangely familiar. Why that one? Because your subconscious filtered reality, highlighting what matched its hidden pattern. Synchronicity is reality whispering, "Look closer. What you carry within is meeting you without." But here's the deeper mystery. Is synchronicity only perception, or is the subconscious somehow entangled with the fabric of reality itself? If consciousness is not only in the brain, but woven into the cosmos, then perhaps the inner and outer are not separate at all. What if every coincidence is the subconscious showing you that the boundary between dream and world is thinner than you think? Why is it that a single phrase, repeated softly, can shape behavior? Why do placebos, sugar pills with no medicine, so often bring real healing? The answer lies in the subconscious mind's responsiveness to suggestion. When the conscious mind hears a phrase, "You are safe," "You are capable," "You are ill," the subconscious listens too. And unlike the conscious, it does not debate or argue. It absorbs. It begins to adjust the body, the emotions, even perception, to match the suggestion. This is why hypnosis works, not as some magical control, but as a quiet bypass of the critical conscious mind, giving direct access to the subconscious. A hypnotic suggestion, vivid and emotional, is treated as reality by the hidden mind. But the same process is at work all the time. Advertising uses it. Repetition in media uses it. Even the phrases you whisper to yourself in thought become suggestions that sculpt your reality. The subconscious does not distinguish between a phrase you hear once and a phrase you hear 1,000 times. Repetition gives it weight, and emotion gives it power. This is both a danger and a gift. For if you repeat to yourself, "I cannot," the subconscious will help you live in a world where you cannot. But if you repeat, "I can," with feeling, the subconscious will begin rehearsing a world where you can. What stories have you been suggesting to yourself without even knowing? And what would happen if, starting tonight, you planted new suggestions in the soil of your subconscious? Now let us widen the lens. What happens when many subconscious minds,
carrying similar beliefs, converge. We find the quiet force of the collective. History is filled with examples. Financial markets rising and falling not only on numbers, but on collective belief. Whole societies transformed by shared myths of gods, nations, revolutions, or progress. Even the power of ritual, prayer, or superstition works, not only on the individual subconscious, but through the resonance of many minds focusing together. Reality, it seems, is not built alone. It is co-authored by the subconscious of the many. Even in daily life, you feel this. Step into a room filled with tension, and your body tightens. Step into a room filled with joy, and your breath eases. The subconscious absorbs not only your own beliefs, but the atmosphere of the collective. This raises a haunting question. How much of what you believe is truly yours, and how much is borrowed from the collective dreams around you? The subconscious is porous. It listens to the voices of family, culture, and society, and then quietly builds a reality consistent with them. If the collective believes in scarcity, individuals live inside scarcity. If the collective believes in possibility, new worlds open. And so, by reshaping your own subconscious, you do more than change your private life. You contribute to the shifting of the collective mind, and in doing so, you help rewrite the shared reality of us all. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the atmosphere before anyone spoke? Perhaps the air seemed charged, tense, or heavy with silence. Or maybe it felt warm, open, and welcoming. This is not imagination. It is the collective subconscious at work. Your subconscious mind does not live in isolation. It is part of a vast ocean of thought, a field of quiet energy where your mind meets every other. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious, a reservoir of symbols, archetypes, and instincts shared by all of humanity. When you dream of a great flood, a snake, or a rising sun, you are not only dreaming your own dream, you are dreaming with countless others who have carried the same images across time. And this collective dream has weight. It shapes society, culture, and even history. Think of revolutions. They begin not only in strategy and politics, but in the subconscious stirrings of thousands who long for freedom. Think of love songs, poems, and art. They arise not from one person alone, but from a well that belongs to all. So, when your subconscious creates reality, it is not simply weaving a private world. It is also tuning in to the shared dream of humanity, reflecting, amplifying, and reshaping it.
The stars do not simply shine above you, they echo within you. Every atom in your body was born in a star's fire, carried across space, and gathered here in the vessel you call you. If the subconscious is the soil where personal dreams take root, it is also a mirror of the universe itself. When you close your eyes and drift into meditation, visions often feel cosmic, vast, infinite, timeless. This is because the subconscious is not bound by the same walls the conscious mind builds.
It stretches into the deep ocean of being, where individual identity dissolves and the universal shines through. Have you ever had a dream that felt bigger than you, as though it belonged to all of existence? These are whispers from that cosmic mirror, reminders that your inner world and the outer universe are not two, but one. Physics hints at this too. The observer effect in quantum mechanics suggests that reality is not complete until consciousness touches it. The act of observing collapses possibility into form. And so, just as the subconscious paints your personal reality, perhaps it also participates in painting the cosmic one. You are not a small dreamer in a vast, indifferent universe. Have you ever looked back at your life and seen how events, though scattered at first, seem to align in ways too perfect to be coincidence? A chance meeting, a sudden decision, a door that opened just when you needed it. Destiny, some call it. The subconscious, too, plays here. Your subconscious stores not only your memories, but also your patterns, the invisible rhythms by which you walk through life. Like a river, it has currents, and unless you become aware, it carries you along paths you do not even realize you are following. This is why people often repeat relationships, mistakes, or choices until they awaken and gently change the river's course. But destiny is not a fixed line. It is a dance between the subconscious and the choices of your conscious mind. When both align, when your conscious intent is planted deeply into the subconscious soil, the river flows in harmony with your deepest longing. Mystics say, what is written in the stars is also written within. The subconscious is where these writings meet, where the cosmic script and the personal story blend. So the question becomes, are you drifting unconsciously through the currents of destiny, or are you learning to guide them with awareness? Close your eyes now, if they aren't already. Imagine the mind as a great garden, spread wide and deep, hidden beneath the soil of your daily awareness. You rarely see it, yet it breathes under every step, guiding the rhythm of your days. This is the subconscious, a vast, fertile ground where every thought, every repeated word, every memory and dream is planted like a seed. Much of what grows there was not placed by you. Some seeds were dropped by parents and teachers, others by friends, strangers, and countless moments you've forgotten. Yet still, they sprouted. Some bloomed into strong, sheltering trees of confidence. Others twisted into thorny vines of doubt and fear. But here is the secret. Gardens can be tended. Weeds can be cleared. New seeds can be sown. And the subconscious, though ancient and powerful, listens carefully when you speak with it softly, like a child being sung to sleep. Reprogramming the subconscious is not about force. It is not about ripping out the roots or demanding sudden change. Instead, it is a gentle process, like watering the soil at dusk, like whispering kindness into the earth, and trusting it will rise, in time, as something beautiful. Every affirmation you repeat, every image you dwell upon before sleep, every act of gratitude or self-compassion is a seed pressed quietly into the ground of your subconscious. And in the stillness of dreams, the soil shifts, roots take hold. New beliefs form pathways, weaving themselves into your nervous system, changing the very way your brain perceives reality. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to change its wiring, to build new bridges across the dark rivers of thought. But in softer words, it is simply this: your mind can learn new ways of being. Even the deepest patterns can soften and turn toward light. Perhaps tonight, as you drift, you will plant such a seed. It does not need to be grand. It might be a small phrase: I am enough, or I trust the flow of my life, or simply, I am safe to rest. Each night you return to it, watering it with gentle attention, the seed grows stronger. The subconscious listens. And slowly, like dawn slipping into night, change begins without struggle, without noise, but with inevitability. You do not have to pull the weeds all at once. You only need to nurture what you wish to see grow.
The subconscious does the rest, silently reshaping itself, like the earth after rain. And so, this section closes with an invitation. Tonight, as you settle into dreams, plant one small seed. Let it sink into the soft earth of your mind. Tomorrow, and the day after, return to it with kindness. And one day, without you even noticing the exact moment, you will find yourself walking through a new garden within. A place where peace blooms naturally, where old patterns no longer bind you, and where your subconscious has become not a prison, but a sanctuary. And now, dear listener, our long journey together drifts toward its end. We began with questions about the mind, about memory, forgetting, and the hidden architecture of thought. We wandered through ancient caves of the brain, across oceans of forgotten dreams, through the shadows of repression and the bright fields of imagination. We followed the silent currents of the subconscious, tracing its pathways like rivers flowing beneath the earth. And here we are, standing at the quiet riverbank once more. The water is slow, silver in the moonlight, carrying reflections of stars across its surface. This river is your mind, not only the conscious ripples you see, but also the deeper currents beneath, always moving, always guiding, always listening. Perhaps you came here tonight searching for knowledge. Perhaps you came seeking comfort. Or perhaps you simply came to rest, letting the sound of these words wash over you like a lullaby. Whatever called you, you have arrived. And in this stillness, you can let go. Remember, your subconscious is not your enemy. It is not a force to fear. It is a part of you, vast, ancient, and tender. It remembers everything, yes, but it can also learn anew. It can release, it can heal, it can dream brighter dreams than you ever imagined. As you drift now into sleep, know that you are safe within the gentle rhythm of your own mind. Like a traveler laying down beneath the stars, you are held by something greater. The quiet pulse of memory, the whisper of forgotten thoughts, the promise of new beginnings. And if your mind wanders, that is all right. Let it wander like clouds across the sky, like leaves floating down the river. There is no need to hold on, no need to fight. Everything is flowing, and you are flowing with it. So rest now. Breathe. Feel the weight of your body sink into the bed, the soft gravity of sleep pulling you closer. The day has ended, the night is yours, and tomorrow when you wake, the garden of your mind will be just a little softer, a little brighter, a little freer. Until we meet again, dream gently, dear one. You are safe. You are whole. You are enough. Good night.